Good evening and welcome to the October 27, 2025 meeting of the Hampden Selectboard and Board of Health. We are meeting in the Town House Auditorium briefly before going to an executive session. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. As you said, we have a posted executive session in our office. We will be basically leaving you with a beautiful view of the auditorium, and then coming back here to conduct our business once that meeting is over. So that we are broadcasting on Zoom as well as here in the auditorium. Is there anybody else recording this meeting? Kristen Rivers from the Hampden Times, as well as, are you recording, Sarah?
I will be, yes. Sarah Heenan in Reminder Publishing.
Okay, but not yet?
Not yet.
You didn't get this beautiful speech?
Sorry.
Okay, I'll get by. All right, so I will entertain, let's do the minutes first. Let's knock out the minutes. All right. We have the minutes of October 14th. I mean, she worked hard on them, Don. Wow. There was a lot of talk about the town meeting. There was a great meeting with our financial team, talking about our current expenses, our future expenses, our free cash, and how we should apportion that at the upcoming town meeting. Motion to approve.
So move. A second.
All in favor? Aye. Meeting on the 20th, shockingly, was a lot of the same. We did meet with a couple members of the Park and Rec Department to talk about their upcoming warrant article. We talked about the upcoming Public Safety Night, which I will mention. The three of us were there in attendance, and it was an awesome event. I think we have to give kudos to the Hampden Fire Department for putting it on such short notice. A report from the Board of Health about the food vendor.
Excellent, excellent. The burger and fried onions were good. And then I did go back for a steak and cheese.
A complete job.
A little nightcap.
What was the report on the steak and cheese?
How was that? Good.
It was good. Excellent.
Well, that's thorough, Don. I appreciate that. Make sure you submit your expenses.
And I had a tell Mrs. Davenport I didn't have any goodies there. I just.
Well, guess that's out of the bag. All right, so motion on the minutes of the 20th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session.
I move we go into executive session to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining. As an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on our bargaining position. We'll return to, this is the highway union, we'll return to public session after the executive session.
Okay, second?
Yep.
All in favor by name, John Flynn, aye.
Don Davenport, aye.
Eric Vanderleed and I.
Thank you.
Okay.
Don't go through our secret
Yeah,
stuff.
don't go through this.
I'd have to say about my
She already did.
Sorry, okay, great.
We're back on.
Okay, we're back in here. We have concluded our executive session, and we're back on the agenda. Approval revote, is there an issue that things are proceeding along, Brian, as far as you're aware? That right now there is no license because they are not complete with their application?
I believe the application's complete, right?
We have a new,
Lauren? I believe it's complete.
You all have copies of the new documents that they submitted.
is it? Yeah, this is the Department
Are
of
any of them on?
I don't know,
Nothing's on
we're
Zoom.
20 minutes late, but
I didn't have time.
Do we have anybody here for them? Were they aware of it?
no,
Oh,
no.
yeah, they're aware, he told them, right?
Yes. Again, I think I told them what time. I should have been long enough to.
Are you seeking budget approval? Yeah, it's been corrected.
Yeah.
Budget approval, I believe it was, the other was the unemployment certificate was expired, that's valid now.
And they'll list all the other locations.
Yeah, the other
Was that the
location.
6D you said, Don?
6A.
6A.
Yep, right
Yes, they have other locations.
Long Meadow and Springfield, correct. Okay.
Good.
All right. So looking at the application of the missing parts have been corrected and brought up to what the board had requested. Brian, you're good with the application?
Yeah.
Don, any questions about it?
Okay,
You're good with it now?
Yeah.
All right. So we have seen a complete application for the transfer license from Hampden Liquor Incorporated to Four Seasons Wine and Liquor. Is the board in favor of this?
so moved.
Second,
All in favor?
All
Aye,
right,
thank you.
we have to
That'll go around for
sign, we have
sign.
to sign something.
Yes,
Right here,
Don,
Don.
told you.
Right here. Okay. Next, the Fire Department and Building Committee. I don't see them, so. So, first off, to the Fire Department, great job Friday night. Great job putting that together in such a quick fashion, and that was a terrific public safety night. So, thank you.
Association, Fire Department Association, putting that together.
They did a great job. All right, so, Mark, what do you got?
All right, so we have got a updated proposal from our first selection for OPM. And it is $426,000. That's for the OPM services for the duration of the project, which we know is something that we have to hire. He updated his proposal, shaved a couple months off of sort of construction time, and also taking the OPM out of the FF&E process, which is, you know, the furniture, fixtures, equipment, stuff towards the end, where they would be monitoring it. They took it off, and that's something that we can do, something in OPM.
So to reduce their price, they're not going to be doing FF&E?
They won't be managing it. So as far as the coordinator,
Who will be managing it?
we will.
Your committee?
The committee.
Huh. So recap then, you had how many, you had whittled it down to 3 or 4? Three,
Correct.
right?
Yes. Yeah.
And the company you recommended is experienced in this type of,
Absolutely.
all right.
Yes, they had the most experience.
And you were concerned about some of the other ones having too much going on as well, I think I heard, that maybe they wouldn't be able to put the level of attention to this project that we would want. Right, okay,
Correct.
all right.
Who oversees him?
Who guards the guardian?
Yeah, who oversees, you know, if there's a, who's he going to and say, look, if there's a contingency that we have, who approves that?
I think it would be, first of all, it would come back to the board at some point, but the committee, via Brian too.
What's his fee based on? I mean, is it a percentage? Is it a,
It comes out to a percentage, it's based on
Time.
hours.
It's time.
Individuals, somebody there each day.
is it based on the 8.5 million or 8.3 million?
8.3.
What if you don't get the 8.3?
Again, it's based on time. So they, they've listed out.
So if, for instance, we have going forward, all the towns are in a little bit fiscal dilemma here. We're not getting funding, federal funding, we're not getting, a lot of state funding is going away and that type of thing. So we're running crunch time in a lot of different projects. So the question is, the town meeting, when they passed the article, it was with the approval, the treasurer could borrow with the approval of the select board. What if the select board says, look, we don't want to spend 8.5 million, we only want to spend 6 million or 5 million? What happens with his fee?
The bigger question is what happens to the state.
To the project, right.
To the project.
Well, it has to be revised. I mean, I think John pointed out, we put several large things for, several large buildings for the highway department for, less than $1 million. So I know there's a lot of safety things that need to be done there, but, I think we have to be cognizant of what's happened fiscally. Particularly, this isn't gonna happen probably for a couple of years. So what if the select board says, look, we don't have 8.5 million, we can't borrow 8.5 million, we only can borrow 6 million.
A lot of other problems happening at the same time.
Yeah.
We're planning on 8.3, and we're planning not to exceed that.
Correct.
And,
Yeah, but you don't know, you don't have a design guy yet even.
I'm sorry?
You don't have an architect yet.
That is the next step.
We don't know what we're gonna budget for an architect.
We are?
We're not gonna exceed our number.
You don't know that.
To turn max.
I guess my point is, have you considered that we might have to go with a lower number? Maybe we don't have a second floor, or maybe we don't, I don't know, have the,
Second floor is functional from the gaining the height of trusses. We're not planning to do anything with that second floor other than put mechanical up there and storage.
I'm a little bit shocked at $425,000 based on 8.3, when you don't know that's what's gonna happen. So I understand we're required to get one. I understand this is the way they do it. I understand they suck as much money out of the towns as possible, because, they're required to do that. But I'm just trying to figure out how we maybe can save $1 million or $2 million going forward, because we're headed for real fiscal danger here in town.
But one thing we can do to save is to keep things moving. Every month we lose is.
I know, I hear that all the time. We have to do it now because it's gonna cost us more later, but, I understand.
I think relative to the fees, if you were building a $20 million station, the fee would be less than 5%. The problem is, at some point, you have hours you have to cover, and principals are involved in some of the meetings, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't say it's necessarily cheaper to build a smaller building when you look at the fees. Fees are about the same. If the building were 20 million and they were gonna do it on the same number of months, it would be less a percentage. But the fact is that on a smaller building, it's the same.
We charge more.
8 hours, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know that we can do much about that part of it. It's always been the plan to be as austere as we can on certain things.
The next phase would be the architect,
Right,
and that would be the actual drawings to build the project.
correct.
And that cost would be ballpark?
800,000,
Now, again,
10%. 10% of 8.3 million would be 800,000, right?
well, no one's saying it is 10%. That's the thing. That's why it goes out and we solicit.
The 8.3 is with all those fees put in, building construction, less than.
What if an architect came back and
Yeah,
said,
excuse
I've
me,
got a
Jeff.
project, and, no, go down, Don's point and says, I've got a way we can make this smaller in my drawings and accomplish the same thing? Would that work to Don's point?
Would be definitely up for consideration. Sure.
I'm a little confused. You're anticipating some shortfall in funding from the operational budget standpoint, yes? I don't understand how spending less on a debt exclusion is gonna help that. Because you can't take the money from here and put it to there.
No, but the way it's gonna help it is that it's gonna keep the tax rate down, how much taxes people are gonna pay down a little bit.
Bill down, yeah.
Keep the tax bill down, not the tax rate, the tax bill down. And plus, we may need bonding for other projects, and if we have an $8.5 million bond out there, and we need to spend $1 million to do something someplace else, then it's gonna affect our bond rating.
There was no anticipation of other projects at the time this was put forward.
Sure, there's the Thornton Burgess School, there's the senior center, there's something to do with this building.
Bridge.
The bridges.
So we're always looking at these type of things, always.
No, I'm
So that's why we're
just-
asking questions.
Yeah, no, I get it, okay, I'm a little confused why we're looking at it after the fact versus if it was only a couple months ago when to vote, why wasn't it looked at prior to?
Well, I think at all part of our job is to always look at what we're spending and going forward, so.
And plus the fiscal,
But it makes managing the project a little bit difficult when midstream, all of a sudden you start throwing those curveballs.
well, you've got this, you got the regional high school that's looking for some serious capital improvements. We got maybe him.
That's a new development?
That was just recently, yeah.
Yeah.
The bleachers and the HAVAC, the system at the Wilbraham Middle School, which they're asking us to pay a portion of, which we've been fighting not to, but, we may have to because our kids go there.
Right.
So I'm just trying to figure out if there's a way we can save some money, that's all.
Right. Just to put a cap on it, though, this, I think, is for a future discussion, because I think you sense where the board is. You're here for the OPM, we have other things, and we have the advisory hearing set for 7 o'clock.
Right.
So we have to kind of, I don't want to say cut this short. You get a sense of the boards wanted to be engaged with you on this. But for the OPM contract, are we okay with at least getting that moving along?
Yes, yeah, we have to move forward. We have to move forward with the project.
So a motion to authorize the town administrator to sign that contract?
So moved.
Second,
All in favor? Aye.
abstain.
Okay, all right, that's done. Okay, and feel free to come to any meeting, we'll always have that plate here for you. All right.
Thank you.
So next on the agenda before the advisory wanders up here, Paul.
How are you?
Good, sir, yourself.
Well, thank you.
So Paul Marcelino has give us a report on the holiday lighting,
Tree lighting, yes.
tree lighting. I'm told there's a,
Well,
new player.
I'm sorry?
I'm told there's a new player at the location.
There is. There's a new tree.
There you go.
Obviously, this has taken a few twists and turns. The original plan of lighting up Main Street, or, Allen Street, from Hampden Road, East Long Meadow Road, Wilbraham Road, was derailed by Verizon. So we, took a step back, thought about banners, but banners being at night, you can't see them. So we pivoted. Then we met last week or 2 weeks ago at TWB, and I'm pleased to say that we had a tree planted today on or around the same space that we talked about while we were on site. I was in Connecticut last week, looked at some lighting that's at our disposal at no charge. I just have to get it here. I sent a link to, I think, Brian, and John, you might have been on that email, of a family that had this lighting display up in Nashua, New Hampshire. It rivals Bright Nights, really quality. So fast forward, I think this year we can light a tree. I can get some mechanical trees, if you would, with rope lighting on it, we get those in place. We can do some really nice stuff around the gazebo. I do need to employ an electrician, not employ, I asked Kevin Sacco to look at the gazebo, as I think that was a question that we had as far as capabilities at that facility. He's agreed to donate some time and materials to kind of get that where we need it, so we can, utilize it in a safe manner. What I need to know is what your timeline is, when are you looking to have your tree lighting festivities take place, so I have a calendar to work against, and go from there.
Right. So I think I reported to the board last week that Brian, Dan, and I met with Paul, was it a week and a half ago roughly? Dan? Yeah, we looked over the gazebo, and I think I mentioned the work that Parks, the Garden Club, some community members as well have done to improve the gazebo is incredible. We saw it this weekend a couple of times, both at the Trunk or Treat, which was a great event, Dan, and for the Hampden Night Out. What Paul's proposed here is pretty much upgrading the gazebo to make it ready for the tree lighting ceremony. We talked about having some display there, potentially having the choir that Green Meadows provides, sitting in the gazebo, perhaps singing from there. I think a date, typically the date has always been the first Sunday in December.
Okay.
Which would be the 7th. We might have, we're still looking for who can basically honcho that, because we had a terrific person who pretty much ran the tree lighting for the past few years, and right now this would be on Lauren, and she is pretty well, she has a lot on her plate right now, so we're investigating that. But I would say tentatively December 7th would be that date.
Okay.
That we have the event there. Dan has assured us we'll have snow.
Not too much.
Not too much, thanks, Dan. We already met with Highway, they're willing to plow. So that's where we're looking.
Okay.
We'll continue to meet with you, see what's happening. Dan, you're comfortable with Sacco doing the work? We looked at those outlets, et cetera.
He's in town.
100%, yeah.
The one question would be, is he willing to put underground to the tree and put a stub out there?
I don't know. I think right now he's focusing on the gazebo,
Right, but I mean, we want to light the tree, obviously, even though it's not exactly Rockefeller Plaza tree, but how are we going to get power out to it? It's been underground, obviously in front,
Yeah.
and we have a stub out there.
I think we need to look at it, we need to get out there and assess what's currently there, what can be
Well,
salvaged.
let me just say, we don't expect him to donate everything.
Okay.
If he says, look, I'm happy to wire it for you. If you buy the PVC to get it out there and the parts, I'll put it in for you. I'm sure the board can find a way to make that happen. We have town event money, things like that.
Okay.
So if he's saying, look, I'll do the labor, but I'm not going to be out parts, come back to us, please.
Agreed.
And
Okay.
I think that would be, if it was all controlled from the gazebo, that would be the way I think we'd like it. We have
breaker box there.
the junction box there. and stuff. Yeah,
I think so.
because that may be his thing. Look, I'm happy to help out, but we could take care of parts, and he's got the skill and the license.
Yeah,
That would be the thing.
That box should probably be replaced.
Yeah, anyhow, right.
Scary.
We talked about that.
Send me the
And at some point, Herb's gonna find out where that box goes to in the school.
Showed it to me.
Oh, you found the breaker?
He showed
You
it
found the breaker? Okay, good. All right, so that's where we are.
So the date again was December?
7th would be the first Sunday in December.
Every day.
Paul, I'll reach out to talk to you about
My grandma's
the
birthday.
transportation of those lights, if that's gonna
Well, my
happen.
goal would be, there's a mover that's in our building in Springfield.
Yeah.
Hopefully meeting him out there on Sunday.
Okay.
How
How many trucks, how many trucks are we talking, do you think? How many loads are? We'll take a lot.
There's a lot there. I'm sharing it with the trolley barn in Connecticut.
Yeah.
So really, it depends on how big we want to go.
Okay.
I'm going to store some in Springfield, really just bring up here this year, or, in the near future, what I want to put out there this year.
Okay.
And this year is really the gazebo and the trees, that I could send you a picture of. When I was there Friday, I illuminated one of the trees, and I want to bring 9 trees back to put on the front lawn of TWB to augment the lit tree.
Yep.
And there's also dozens and dozens of cases of string lighting that I'd like to put in the existing trees to the left of the driveway as you pull in.
Yep.
You know, just kind of string them through the trees, just to kind of add another dimension for the display.
Okay, great.
Cool.
So, you know, this will evolve
Yeah.
and grow as much as we want to grow it.
Will you need staff to put up the snowflakes and all?
Okay, all right.
As far as how,
The snowflakes.
like,
Okay, but I mean, all right, we got advisory at 7, so we can,
Number 6 is town material.
okay. Paul, thank you for everything you're doing.
Thank you. No, we're glad to-
They're gonna talk about this, he's gonna come up here, right?
Yes, we're gonna vacate our chairs. We'll leave the cookies here.
I'm gonna take one with me, just in case I get hung.
You are the Board of Health Chair.
Can't make it through.
Electronic trees here, electronic trees here, and then we have these stuff. It's all yours. I will, John, to get us.
Take your folder, or you wanna walk through it, or it's up to you? I'm just moving our stuff out of the way at least.
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Yeah, thank you.
I'll email John.
okay,
And,
he'll get us in touch.
yeah, because I want to get signed.
Okay. Anytime, I mean. So much. Well, good seeing
I
you.
appreciate it likewise, thank you.
Any way we can help, I mean.
I appreciate it, thanks.
I'm not here to steal a cookie.
Should.
Please do. You can't expect me to sit in front of that plate this whole meeting and not take.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep Jim going over here.
Yeah. Heather, why don't you keep an eye on it?
No,
Hey, Danielle,
I gotta move over.
there you go. Don's doing his part. There you go.
Not even 3 seconds, halfway through the cookie. I had a Pop-Tart, I can't have a cookie.
Down here.
Throwing all these, every pen that I take. Thanks. You got the cookies. Oh, my God. That was from the Village Mart?
Hey, how are you?
Well, there you go. That's your dinner. Yep.
All righty.
This is.
Started. All right, good evening, everybody. We're going to start the advisory public hearing. My name is Doug Boyd. I'm Chair of the Advisory Committee. This is a public hearing which we're required to have by law in advance of the special town meeting, which is scheduled for next Monday, November 9th. The warrant is, I believe there's extra copies on the back table if anybody needs them.
There's some at the end of the table there too.
Okay, we have them in two different locations. The purpose of this meeting is to take public input on the articles, to answer any questions or raise questions that people may have, and either answer them or find the way that we're going to answer them. So what I would ask is that as we go through these articles, if anybody has anything which, any questions they would like to ask or any comments, please just raise your hand and wait for me to recognize you so we do this in some type of an orderly fashion. With that, we'll start with Article 1, which is to amend the Hampden general bylaws for a 6:30 PM annual town meeting start time. This is an article, I believe, being, I was going to say, this is an article that's been brought by the board. Pretty self-explanatory, just moving it from 7 o'clock back to 6:30 to try and accommodate people's schedules. Anybody have any questions or comments on that? Article 2 is additional funding for the townhouse maintenance account facilities manager. This is a request for an additional $38,008. This is to fund a full-time position for the facilities manager for the, I guess we're going to continue to call it TWB for the time being, but to basically manage and take care of that building,
Well, pardon, all town buildings.
all town buildings, but based in,
We write down the focus on that, but it'll be overseeing all municipal buildings.
and I'm assuming that job description will evolve as time passes and we get some more experience with it,
It says that now.
right? Because there's quite a few town properties. It's, okay, but this is to bring that to a full-time position.
Yes.
There was money at the annual town meeting, that was 40,000. This is an additional 38 to bring it up to a full-time position. Any questions on that? Okay. Article 3 is additional funding for the insurance account, employee benefits. This is request $56,000. This is essentially, as it says, this is primarily for increased health insurance costs, although employee benefits is a broad category, involves lots of different benefits. John, do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, so basically we had, obviously, we put this number in at the town meeting, and we had an employee that put in for retirement after the budget was voted in May. So there wasn't enough money in employee benefits to cover the buyout package for that person. And this will basically add that in. We're told from the treasurer that the number we have in employee benefits right now is good for health we anticipate for the upcoming year.
All right.
But you never know. Right, Dick?
Are Articles 2 and 3, are those raise and appropriate?
They can be raised and appropriate or transfer. And I'll explain at the end what we have for available funds in terms of how we can approach these. Any further questions on Article 3, the additional funds for employee benefits? Article 4, transfer from the county retirement account to the Council on Aging account. This is a request for $10,000. This is an internal transfer from the county retirement line to the Council on Aging.
Right, so there's a federal grant that pays part of the salary of one of the employees at the senior center. That grant was terminated. So there's a shortfall of $7,500 in that salary line. We get a discount because the treasurer is prompt on paying the invoice to county retirement. So there will be more than enough left over in that appropriation to cover the $7,500 needed for the transfer. It's not $10,000, it is $7,500. And then, of course, the rest left in there, which is roll of free cash at the end of this year.
Let me just quickly explain. We received the assessment letter from the Hampden County Retirement Board, usually in December. And it comes as a flat number, but there's a provision where if we pay it early, we pay it by a certain date, we receive a discount. We always budget the larger number because payment of the full amount is dependent on cash flow. We've been fortunate in recent years to have enough cash flow to pay the number sooner, so we end up with a savings that's somewhere in the 3 to 4% of the assessment. And John, you're looking confused.
No, Dick, I want to know if Dick had a number of what the savings is.
Yeah, we spoke earlier this evening about it, in terms of talking about the overall total savings.
How much do we save on it?
The discount is only applied to the first half of the payment. So there's 2 payments each 6 months apart. So we get a discount on the first 6-month payment. The assessment this year was a little over $900,000. So by paying that early, we free up a certain amount of money, which is why we can do this transfer out of that account without affecting, the ability to pay.
What the savings was? What the difference, the savings was? What the savings was? Between, you're asking me?
Yeah, I mean, when we pay that early, we're saving $15,000.
$10,394.
And Becky, I think, said that the shortfall is only 7,500.
Now, let me just put this out there, because we have done this, we've handled the Hampden County retirement assessment this way for the past several years, knowing that we were going to have these savings roll into our free cash and be available, in the next year. So by doing this transfer now, what we're doing is we're not going to have these funds available next year when we're looking at free cash. So, it's changing things, the way we've done things a bit. Saves us money now, but it's going to deprive us of having that money available next year. Any further questions on Article 4? Article 5 is to repurpose funds for the HVAC system replacement at the Hampden Senior Center. This is not any new money. This is to recharacterize $120,000, which was previously appropriated at town meeting. I know Gary's here from the building committee if anybody has any questions, but there's no new money here. Anybody have any questions about that? Rita?
We voted 140,000 at the annual.
Gary?
That's correct. I think at town meeting, we explained that the committee had targeted 3 priorities for ongoing maintenance: the roof, bathroom upgrades, and minor work on the septic system. And so the budget breakdown, or the numbers that we had at the time, were about 120,000 for the roof, 5,000 for the septic system, and 15,000 for the bathroom upgrades. As of now, the bathroom upgrades are under contract. We're hoping that they will get underway in November. The septic system has been upgraded in accordance with the Title V report. So there was 120,000 for the roof that we're looking to repurpose for the HVAC. Quite frankly, we were planning on coming with a warrant article for about $90,000 for windows. However, if I can't jump to
Sure.
6,
Yep,
because
5
and 6 come together. After the town meeting and after Brian put out a request for bids for the bathrooms, in August, the HVACs, or the air conditioning system had leaks. So we had BG Mechanical come in. They were able to unfreeze the condensers and had them do a review of both the system, the heating system and the cooling system. Also, with the help of the facilities manager, we had Pioneer Valley also give us a second look at the system. And both their conclusions were that after 25 years, the system really was needing to be replaced. So in talking with the Selectboard, it was understood that we would repurpose the roof money at this point in time and ask under our warrant article 6 for an additional 130,000 so that we can replace the HVACs, the whole HVAC system, based on estimates given by BG and Pioneer Valley. So the 2 warrant articles go together. The roof is being, if you will, put off till next year. If you will, one of the good things about not doing the roof is that the system is in the attic crawl space, and replacement looks like it probably will go through the roof. So that if we had done anything on the roof, it would have been redundant. So that's what the 2 articles entail at this point.
All right. Anybody have any other questions about the Article 5, the 120? No.
If I can, you'll be coming back for roof repairs or roof
In the
replacement?
springtime, yes.
So at the annual town meeting,
Yes.
you'll go and get some possibilities, some new estimates?
Yeah, the estimates for the roofing were done in March of this year, so obviously everything is going up. So we will be getting new estimates. Bad word, assuming town meeting would vote for the new HVAC system, we'll be working on specifications and working with, talking to a number of vendors because of the technologies that we may be looking at. But once we settle, then we'll be getting specifications and hopefully a bid out as soon as possible, because again, everybody here recognizes that the senior center is a heating and cooling center for the town of Hampden in cases of emergency.
Right. Article 6, as Gary said, this is the second part of the HVAC system at the senior center. This is a request for $130,000 in new money. And this is essentially to complement the repurposing of the 120 so that there's enough to do the entire project. And as John brought up, I mean, this leaves the roof status quo, so the roof obviously is going to still need work. So it's not going away, it's just being deferred. Gary?
And as the bearer of bad news also, we originally focused on 4 priorities. I talked about the 3, but the windows also are in need of replacement. At the request of the select board prior to town meeting in the spring, we removed that article or that priority from what we were asking for, to the tune of about $90,000. Again, based on estimates that we went out and got. So we're trying to be proactive here as we go along. Honestly, the roof would be out to bid by now, and if the HVAC system hadn't decided to give up the ghost. It's still functional, and we don't mean to say that it's not working. It is, but it's at its life's end, if you will.
So essentially, the building committee has reprioritized the needs based on your experience, and this is what we have to do.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody have any questions on?
Does that mean that the HVAC system is going to cost $250,000? Because we've got 120 coming, we're looking for an additional 130?
Right, 250 total.
Okay, thank you.
Any other, Sarah?
So where does that leave the windows?
Leave the windows on the to-do list.
Okay.
With the roof. Article 7, HVAC system installation at the New Hampden Town Hall, formerly Thurton W. Burgess School. Is that what we're going to call it? We're going to call it the New Hampden Town Hall?
/ former Barn Burgess.
Yeah.
All one thing.
Okay. This is a request for $300,000 to do essentially that, repair and installation of HVAC at Thornton Burgess. I don't know if you want to speak to that at all, or?
It's mostly, correct me if I'm wrong, Brian, mostly the northern part of the school, which consists of the library pod, and that area there really is the bulk of the money, because obviously the bulk of the square footage, plus some of the additional offices along the front. And it's just a lot of technology. You see that from the request for the senior center. That equipment costs money.
So what is the other part of the school / town hall?
Some already has it. That's correct, Brian?
Newer or working?
Good answer.
Mark is the guy you need to ask, because he has been.
Yes, they're
in
up
the
and
city.
working. They've probably got six years behind them, 7 years behind them as we move the transition group out of there. We need to put them in because certain kids had IEPs, so we had to put them in. So they're about 6 years old, so I have never had a problem with them. They turn on, they turn off, they clean our rooms. So them wouldn't have to be replaced for a while, I would say.
So the old part of the bulk of the school is not working very well?
So you have, and the whole main office is actually a unit on the roof, which we're looking at to to control most of the library, which would be a unit on the roof, would take up the library, and we have to put another unit on to split off to take care of the other sections of the building. But you're looking at additional 7. We're coming in with, the whole front office is completely AC and heat, on the unit on the roof. So that whole main office is all set.
So they're not working well now, or?
Well, no, they're working fine. It's just it's rooms that we're putting offices in that we're gonna require AC units in it.
Okay, so it's for AC.
We don't have it.
They don't have it
We're
now.
not touching the AC units that are in there now. There's no reason to touch them at this point.
So the majority of the cost of 300,000 is the library space. So it's the interior libraries, the existing interior library space. And then they also have 3 classrooms towards the roadside that's gonna be repurposed as the children's library and the Rochester Reading Room. None of those spaces have cooling or humidity control. So that was a request from the library to get that installed as soon as possible.
Okay, so it's primarily for air conditioning that doesn't exist?
Correct.
Okay.
And then Herb was right, I think there's 6 or 7 other classrooms.
Yeah, seven
will be office
classrooms.
spaces that could benefit from having cooling.
And I left my office out of it.
And so that will leave a number of spaces not air conditioned. We're not looking to do the whole building.
It's not the entire building, it's just selected portions of it.
Yeah,
Portions that will be
it's just-
occupied.
Yeah, and that leaves,
Why do you accept him?
that leaves out the rec classrooms as well on the other side at this point. You know, maybe if it comes down to, we have some extra money, we could throw some sport units in that as well. We tried to lay back as much as we could possibly lay back, but like I said, it's a library taking up probably 80% of that project.
And just by way of an update, if I could, you may have heard that there was a $90,000 state earmark for the camera systems and the electronic access control, and thankfully the governor released those funds last week. So
it's actually
$9,000 cost to the earmark, and then we'll have additional funds.
So is that like a grant per se? I mean, is there?
It was a state earmark, but it comes through as a grant, so it's a request that we sent to.
So does the library industry have anything
I asked
available?
them if there was any funding that they could apply for, and they didn't think that there was.
Okay.
That's something we'll keep exploring as we continue to get into the building and use it.
I was just wondering why this is coming in the fall and not back in the spring as part of the whole upgrade and renovation of the building. Was it not known then, or?
Guess I don't have an answer to that question. We're not looking at the HVAC system at that point.
Just curious.
I think it's also a matter of fitting it into our finances. We knew that there'd be free cash available in the fall. Obviously, we didn't know how much, but, and we'll get to that discussion about the free cash and about how we can make some of these expenditures without actually having to raise new funds, increase the taxes.
I can ask.
John?
You'll be using, probably not the library space, but the other classrooms that are going to become offices, those will be split units?
More than likely, it would be a cheaper way to put the unit up top and then put off 6 units off that unit.
Okay.
That's a lot of guys like to do because you're only buying that one compressor.
Gotcha.
And you can do that in heat pump stuff.
Yep, okay.
Is that size just for that amount of space, or could you add on to it in the future if you need to, or you need to buy a whole new
That's a
unit?
good question. We did ask that question. And again, it comes up to the money. It's how much you want to spend to get that up to where you can add on and stuff like that. As we go right now, do we look at maybe getting the library done and then take the additional money and get that done, and then maybe put a heat pump, a split system in some of the single offices? John will tell you the prices on split units are coming down a little bit. It's the gas that's messing everybody up.
Yeah.
They're changing all these gases, and they mess around with all these gases. Now, that's where the senior center, like that lies into that mess.
You're talking gases, or you're talking about within the system, the Freon and.
The refrigerants, yeah.
I don't want people to think it's natural gas. That's another expense.
We tried to save as much money as we can. We thought about pulling these out of here, but again, you're gonna run into that gas problem. Then it's not gonna be compatible with what they're gonna be looking into the building.
Right, but I think, Kevin, to your point, we might be able to go bigger on the PTUs on the main system, but without, so to speak, attaching them to the rooms and then down the road.
That's what I meant. Can you, for a small amount of money, go a little bit bigger and then add on in the future?
Capacity to expand in the future.
Yep.
All right, any other comments, questions? Article 7? All right, Article 8 is electrical upgrades and new signage at the Hampden Transfer Station.
So that's so we're asking $10,000. We have 2 sheds up there. One of them has no electricity in it. They have a generator that works pretty well. And that's the one by the recycling center. And the other one has a heater blower in there that doesn't work. It's supposed to have been replaced years ago and hasn't. So our hope would be to get $10,000 to get some electricity in there so those guys can have heat and light. Why they want that, I don't know. And fix the bullet blower. The signage we're gonna put off, we might be able to pay for that out of the revenue there that's coming in, so it's $10,000.
All right, any comments, questions? All right, Article 9, purchase of a new police cruiser. This has a number of $70,000 associated with it.
Right, we discussed that, and at this point, we think we're going to just keep looking at the mileage that we're, and put that off to the spring.
Let the new chief decide.
At that point, the chief will have more input on what the fleet is gonna look like at that point. Well, that, he's gonna, since he's in town, he can use a bike. So, e-bike. By the way, this is the new chief here, Dan Morrow. If you stand up here. Up, chief.
Well, welcome, welcome.
Thank you. You can say welcome to much, he lives right up the road. It's a shortcut. Thank Heather to drop him off.
Yep.
He's not being told that, does he know that?
We could e-bike together.
Yeah. All right, so the police cruiser is going to be taken off for this meeting. Okay. Article 10, purchase of a compact wheel front loader.
So, same thing in light of, I think you guys have done, you all have done a terrific job in explaining where the town stands from a financial standpoint. The board acknowledges the need for this. We also acknowledge the need for, you know, what we're looking at for the upcoming taxes. We were requesting to put that off to the spring. Some news has come up today that might give us a different funding source that won't affect the tax rate. So we're going to be exploring that in the next week or so. But at this point, we're requesting no action on that article.
If I can.
John?
If we don't approve, if the town does not approve, where does that put us as far as replacement schedule for equipment in the highway department?
Again, we'll know more if this just came up today.
Yeah.
So if what we're discussing right now with Mark, Brian, and the board happens, we'll be right on schedule.
Okay.
And we'll be able to take advantage of the discounted price that this was going to give us.
Okay.
Okay. With potentially no impact to that.
All right. So
now we're using your sheet.
Yeah. Just got a Honda, so that's my little pickup, yes.
It is important for people to understand the fact that we're taking these articles off doesn't mean that the need is going away.
Exactly.
But
finding another funding source is good news for us.
yes. All right, Article 11, purchase of a pickup truck. This is a request from Parks and Rec, and I believe this is a $20,000 request.
Yep. So we had, I think it was in August, our pickup truck died. Steve uses it daily. The quote from Corby's to repair it was $7,650. The truck is maybe worth $9,000, if it was in good condition, but it's not. In Corby's opinion, the truck is not worth repairing. It's just sort of like every department, we have a need there for this, but we understand that, now is a very difficult fiscal time. That's sort of why we came with $20,000, a lower number. We recognize we don't need a $50,000 new truck for Parks and Rec. However, we do need a vehicle. We transport equipment and supplies, haul materials, trash, debris. We do trailer the lawnmowers still back and forth. They use tandem mowers now during the fall for the leaf cleanup. It supports our programs and events like Rock into Summer. We would have used it for trunk or treat if we had it, and it doesn't run at all. It's out of service. We use it in the Memorial Day Parade, Rock into Summer, and we'd use it for any events that we need to move things around for. We use it to winterize and de-winterize the splash pad. The other thing that comes up is Steve is using his personal vehicle right now. I don't know where that falls liability-wise with the town. Brian reached out to the insurance agent, and she did say whenever possible, it's best to have employees using town-owned vehicles for work. There's also, so now we have some mileage being resubmitted, which we hadn't had in the past, and that's an expense that we had not forecasted for the year, so that's sort of taking away from some of our programs. Not that this matters, but $20,000 looks like it's about 2% on the tax rate, and for the average assessed value of $419,000 for Hampden, the tax bill, each person's tax bill at $419,000 would increase by $8.38 a year approximately. We understand the financial situation of the town, so we are open to waiting till the spring. However, that does, those funds typically don't become available until July, so that puts us almost a full year without a vehicle. So that's why we're coming, but we understand if you would prefer to take no action at this time. But the need is there, and so that's sort of why.
I'm just wondering, you indicated that you use it in opening and closing the spray park.
Yeah, they move some of the structures.
The fixtures.
And they use it to get height to take down some of the things.
Okay, because I thought there was a contractor that was brought in.
We have a guy, but Steve works with them, and they do it together. We cut that bill down by about half by helping.
Because I seem to recall we were paying quite a bit to.
It was Guarino's, and we got rid of them. They were out of Eastern Mass, and we got a local guy that's much better.
Any comments, questions? No?
I do.
John?
Can I ask you what failed for $7,650?
You got it. It needs an oil pan replacement, that was $700. Transfer case and linkage, $1,500 to $2,000. Coolant leak, $450. Transmission cooling lines, which are no longer available. He says he probably can't fix those. And it needs an 8-foot, the bed is about to fall off of the truck. So that's $4,500. And we received this truck in July of '23 from the highway department, just a little history. It was a plow truck for them. In September of '23, we had to put $2,300 into it. And then in April of '24, we put another $500 into it. So to me, it's not financially responsible to repair this vehicle.
Mark, you got rid of it at the right time.
He helped us out with some of those charges, so I think that's half of it, because he picked up half the tab on some of those, so.
Anything else? Any other questions, comments? No? Okay, thanks. Articles 12 and 13 are both community preservation. Community preservation is meeting Wednesday night to consider 2 requests. We have a request from the Housing Authority for replacement of concrete sidewalks in the Spring Meadow. The request for that is $42,822.25. Anybody have any questions on that one? No. Article 13 is a request from the Cemetery Commission for $27,000 for let me think how to describe this best, is essentially to put in a turnaround on the old cemetery. When you go into the old cemetery and you go up to the left, up to the back left, it currently just stops. This is a request from the Cemetery Commission to essentially put in a turnaround at the top of that. They flagged it out. And there's some, well, there's some discussion to be had on this one yet, but Dwayne, do you want to say anything on that?
With this particular road, basically dead end right about where Robert Session, the Tea Party person that was recently re-stoned in mud cemetery, it's about 30 feet from that location. It's an area where the elevation is such that turning around, people are either backing into the cemetery or they're driving out into the new section, which has grades. In some cases, they're driving over those grades. So it has a dual function there, protecting the existing grades and sites. We have, as a cemetery commission, removed the 6 trees that will have to go to, in order to allow us to build this. In addition to that, it's almost impossible when there's a funeral. The cemetery lines up there, and people either have to back out or it's almost impossible to come out.
Thanks. These both community preservation articles would be funded out of the community preservation account, which currently has about $690,000 in it. That's money that's already in the bank. So expenditure from these accounts does not impact our tax rate in any way. Anybody have any questions on Article 13, the cemetery article? No. Okay, moving on, Article 14 is to accept local room occupancy tax. I believe this is coming from you, Don?
Chapter 64G 3A allows communities to impose a room occupancy and lodging tax in addition to the state's tax. The Department of Revenue currently lists 7 places in Hampton in which they collect room occupancy or short-term rental tax. It would be 6%. The money would, the 6% tax would come to the state, but to the town. It's not a lot of money, but it'll help the coffers a little bit. The town doesn't have to do anything other than to file and tell the state that they have imposed this tax. The state will collect the money and quarterly send a check to the state for whatever monies they collected for that 6% tax. If we vote for it at the special town meeting, we'll have to notify the state by December 1st, and they'll begin collecting the money on April 1st. We can collect the money on March 1st.
Is that 6% of whatever is collected by the owner for the rental?
The rent.
6% of the rent.
$100 a night, it's $6. There's currently 7 in town. There may be an 8th, but there's 7 in town.
Are these like bed and bath? What are they? Bed and breakfast?
Bed and breakfast, lodging, Airbnb, lodging. Like if a Great Horse, they have 4 or 5 buildings, they rent out,
And we have like 7 in town?
7 in town.
And who collects that tax?
The state collects the tax now. So the owner, so you rent the building, you say it's $100 a night, you pay 106, your bill's 106, $6 is tax for the state. We would add an additional $6 to the building, $12. If we get the $6, the state gets the share.
How do we keep track of that? Who does that? Is that the
The state
collector?
does,
How do we get our $6?
the state sends it to us.
Oh.
They do everything.
Oh.
The owner of the property has to file the same, they just add it to the form that they file with the state. And they send it check to the state, and the state quarterly sends us our share.
Thank you.
So there's no new administration associated with this?
Just the initial part, the town clerk would have to send them the form that says we've accepted this and the vote.
Right.
You can do that.
Of course, there's a form. Hey, Gary?
Is the state taxing them now?
Yes.
At how much?
6.7%.
So this is gonna be 12%.
Right.
That each of those people are gonna be paying.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's passed on to the renter though, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's really passed on to the renter, it doesn't.
It is not passed on, the business doesn't pay for it. The person who's renting the room pays for the building.
Right.
Just like any hotel anywhere.
All right, any other questions, comments? I suspect that'll generate a few comments at next week, but let's.
We could do the meals tax too.
One thing at a time. Yeah. All right, Article 15 is transfer from free cash to the Water Department expansion project. This is somewhat convoluted, but this is somewhat of a makeup article. It's request for $650,000, money that we had voted in the spring to transfer out of stabilization for applying to, I can't remember if it was the tax rate specifically or the water project.
Actually, it was last fall.
Last fall. And because of an accounting issue, we weren't able to do that. That's part of the reason our free cash number is as large as it is because of an accounting accommodation that the state was willing to make with the way these funds were handled. So it's $650,000, the request for the article. The intent is that this is going to be coming out of free cash. So in a sense, this is not new money. This is money that we appropriated last year. I know it's somewhat convoluted, but John, you're looking puzzled.
We transferred out of stabilization to apply towards the tax rate.
Right, yeah. Any questions on that? I know it's not the clearest explanation, but this is money that we're essentially finishing applying to the water district, which is what we intended to do last year. Article 16 is transfer from free cash to reduce the tax rate. Article 16 and 17 is transfer the general stabilization to reduce the tax rate. Article 18, transfer from free cash, general stabilization fund. When I say we, advisory, the select board, the accountant, the treasurer, we've not yet had those discussions. But obviously, those discussions will happen. Let me give you a quick summary of where the town's finances are. The free cash number that was certified by the state was $1,820,769. Now, that's a much larger number than we have historically seen by a magnitude of about 2. And that's because of the accounting accommodation with the transfer from stabilization last year. So the expenditures, which we've just reviewed tonight, we have this free cash of $1,820,000 available. If we look at all of those transfers, if my math is correct, the articles calling for new money are $1,204,008. That's if all of those articles pass. So that would leave the balance of approximately $600,000 of free cash. Now, we also have about $1.3 million in our stabilization account, and we have a levy limit. I know this is getting into the weeds a little bit, but for those people who understand this, it'll make sense. Our levy limit is currently at about $1.3 million. Depending on what we do with those last three articles about reducing to transfer, to reduce the tax rates and whether we put any money into stabilization, will affect what that levy limit will end up being at. Obviously, we want to keep that levy limit at a reasonable level so that we don't run into Proposition 2.5 issues going forward. I think it's fair to say that given the way the finances are going, both for the town, for the school district, and for the state, that there's been a constriction in the accounts. There's less flexibility, both for the schools and for the town, as the funding has tightened up. So what that means is in the next couple of years, that levy limit may be gone. That would leave us with the ability to raise taxes at the 2.5% of the existing levy and any new growth. And given the operations of the town, it would not be possible to maintain level services at a 2.5% levy limit. So going forward, we're going to be asking departments to be tightening the belts because we're anticipating that things are going to be tight the next few years. I know that sounds a bit dire, but I don't think it's overstating things. Rita?
May I ask a question about accounts that weren't covered in here?
Sure.
What account paid for the paving at the senior center, the parking lot?
Well, I think I know, but I don't want to misspeak.
Basically, it's part of the general paving.
That's what I thought. Yeah, Mark was able to put it into his paving account.
The highway?
Yes. Yes. So there's no new money. There's no money coming out of the senior center's budget for that.
Basically, he had almost $1 million in paving allocation this year between Chapter 90 and the was a fair share thing.
There was some extra state money, emergency state money that for 2 years that we've gotten for paving.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely. It looks good, too. Sarah?
Doug, can you explain this to me? Why in 17 are we transferring money out of the general stabilization fund to lower the tax rate, but then putting money back into the general stabilization fund from free cash? Why not just take it out of free cash and put it into?
We put those last three articles there so that we, the town, has the ability to determine the best way to approach that. Now, it's unlikely we would do both. We would do one or the other, depending on how, whatever articles pass, we'll be able to look at what available funds we have. That's when a decision will be made whether or not to transfer money into these various accounts. So by putting these articles on the warrant, it gives us the ability to have the maximum flexibility with the funds. Anything else? Any other questions? All right, thank you, everybody. We'll see you next Monday.
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
You were taking copious notes.
That's my job.
Every time he used the word levy limit, substitute excess levy capacity.
That was one of my questions. I
Yeah,
almost
we used
forgot.
the wrong term.
Okay.
But I didn't think anybody else in the room mattered, except
No.
that's gonna be in print.
Yep.
No problem.
I was planning to ask about it because I knew that wasn't the right word.
We're supposed to adjourn their meeting now, because we kept it open.
So we'll-
Yeah.
Select board's got to come back to.
Okay.
So, based on, do you happen to have written down there what the stabilization fund is at?
I don't have the exact, it's about 1.3 million.
And that's about the same amount as the excess capacity?
Correct.
Okay. Slightly great. And remind me again, that's your excess for push-ins, right?
The excess levy capacity
I don't think that's what you said.
is money that we can spend without having to go into a two and a half. And the reason that we have that excess capacity is over the past 20 years, we have under-taxed. We have not taxed at the 2.5%. So what happens is, whatever that little savings is each year accumulates. So over the last 20 years, we accumulated an excess capacity tax of 1.3 million.
So if you needed to, if you taxed the full 2.5% plus new growth, like you're allowed under the law, and you still could not fully fund all of the town's needs, you could cut into that 1.3.
Correct. We can access the 1.3 without a 2.5 override. It just requires a town meeting vote.
Right.
We also have money in stabilization, it's a savings account.
Right.
That we can also tap to fund shortfall. So we have both available to us. But these expenditures are gonna take a pretty good dent out of our excess levy capacity.
They probably can't even fathom that.
Would you dig into your stabilization before your excess levy capacity? Is that like your stop sheet, like your
That's
last?
a judgment call that's made. Yeah, exactly. And you can go either way on those things.
Benefits and drawbacks.
And there's a benefit to having money in the stabilization account.
Right,
because
looks really good for the.
you get better rates on borrowing, all that kind of stuff. So,
Okay.
you know, when I say we, literally it's all of us kind of kicking
Well, I mean, not
around.
me, I don't live here.
You're welcome to contribute.
I bet.
I think we're done.
Gonna steal this cookie.
Take two, right ahead. Yeah, I'm about that.
Yeah, I think we have plenty of time to talk about it next week.
I have here the select board, and I believe they would like to make a motion. Derek, would you like to make a motion?
Right, for Dan. A motion to adjourn.
You might,
Second.
Derek? What?
Second. Derek
Any
made it.
discussion?
Dan is.
Any discussion?
No discussion.
No discussion. I'll call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I'm sorry, Brian, did you have something to say?
Oh,
Okay.